ونحن المسلمون نحن الأمان. The Muslims of the world, our voices must be heard, our voices speak the truth. People of the world, let's stop all abuse. And we are the Muslims of the world.
الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Welcome to Muslim American show of our weekly show. I am very delighted and honored to have my good brother and colleague Imam Furqan, the Imam of Masjid Al-Mu'minun in downtown Atlanta. And we have a number of hot issues to address today, Imam. I want to begin, first of all, thank you for really taking from your busy time coming to our show, addressing a number of hot issues of our day. Number one, there is a global group called Global Rally for Humanity movement around the country, including to Atlanta last weekend, coming to protest against Muslim and Islam. What are they trying to accomplish, and who are they?
Well, first I would like to begin in, by, and with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. I ask Allah always to guide my tongue, my heart, my mind, and my words, and bless me to say the things that are needed.
Ameen.
It is clear to me, as I'm sure it's clear to many others, that there are people who simply want some attention, just like a child. And so the news went out about at least 20 masajids in the United States. There would be people in front of them protesting on Jummah Day, the biggest event of the week for the Muslim. Not Monday or Tuesday, but Friday. So it's become clear also they're trying to excite us to do something stupid or to get us emotionally upset. And the question becomes, and it's not clear to me, what are you protesting against? You call yourself humanitarians, or you call yourself part of humanity, but what you are doing shows that you are an animal or a savage. Our job as Muslim is to give the people the information about Islam, because that would help to remove the fear. What I see in this, they fear Muslim, they fear the growth of Islam in America, because Islam is growing not only in America, but throughout the world. So if we are increasing in our number, it means they are decreasing in their number. So I see ignorancy and the fear that Islam will be the #1 religion, not only in America, but in the country. It's a fear there. Even from the statement from a candidate running for president, that he feels no Muslim should be president. Now, how silly can this be? No Jew, no Japanese, no Christian should be president? Well, that title does not suggest a nationality. That title president does not suggest a religion. And you running for the position of president saying, I don't think no Muslim should ever be the president of the United States. So all I hear is ignorance on top of ignorance on top of ignorance. Now, I will say there are certain people playing like they are ignorant. They know. And there are some people who are actually ignorant. And I believe when you put out fire, you don't use fire, you use water. To put out ignorance, we have to apply knowledge. So we have to be constantly giving the people the knowledge. What is Islam? What is a Muslim? What is it that we believe? Because the ignorancy today in 2015, I would not have believed that it would be to this degree of ignorance. Maybe 40 years ago, 100 years ago, today with modern technology, books, CD, DVD, cable station, internet, with knowledge, that there's no reason for a person to be ignorant about Islam.
It's very interesting. You just nailed it down. Some Gallup poll shows in the West. The question was asked, in the Western countries, they said, do you believe Western society is hostile to Islam and Muslim, or respect Islam and Muslim, rather? In Italy, 57% say they respect Islam, and 28% they say they don't. In France, 56% they say they do respect Muslim and Islam, and 30% say no. Germany, 56%, very identical, Germany and France, and 34% they say they don't respect Islam and Muslims. UK say, the Gallup poll said 47% they respect Islam and Muslims, and 38% say no. In Canada, 43% they say they respect Islam and Muslims, and 48% say no. US, out of all, 40% they say they disrespect, 40% they say they respect Islam, 52% they say they don't respect Islam or Muslims. What does that tell you?
Yes. And let me say this too. For the African Americans, you can hardly now, in this day and time, find a family of African Americans that do not have a Muslim in that family. An uncle, a niece, an aunt, or some relative. And another thing we have to understand, they just don't fear Islam. They also feel the influence of Islam. When you have a person who's not a Muslim, who say Assalamu alaikum. There are people say don't say that. Say hi, say good morning, say good evening, but don't say Assalamu alaikum. When you have a whole family, because of Islamic influence, they no longer eat pork. They fear that. So again, Islam has a very natural attractiveness to people. And so even when people start saying Assalamu alaikum, someone would say, are you Muslim? Say, no, I'm not Muslim, but I know what that means. My cousin is a Muslim. He taught me that. And I'd rather say that than to say good morning or good evening, etc. So again, we just have to do more of demonstrating what Islam is. My family, when I say my family, I'm talking about brothers, sisters on down the road.
Right.
They know me as a Muslim. And if you tried to say anything wrong about Islam, they would say my brother is not like that. They would say my uncle is not like that. So there are people who know the truth about Islam because many of us have demonstrated the practice of Islam in front of our people who are not Muslim. We have to do more of that and more of teaching the people about Islam. Get into the school, get into the churches, the synagogue, etc., and give education so people will see this is what they say Islam is, this is what Islam is, so this is wrong. I believe in the word definition, you have the word define. And in defining something, it gives you a yardstick to judge things by. Everything is not a cup. Everything is not a glass. Everything is not sand. So when you know what a glass is and you know what a cup is, regardless of what someone say, you know what it is. I give you another example. We all know what peanut butter is.
Right.
If you put it in any kind of container, it don't change it. It's still peanut butter.
That's right.
If you ship it off to another country and they call it another name in that native tongue, we still know it's peanut butter. Why? Because we have the true definition. We can take our finger, so I don't care what you call this. This is peanut butter.
Right.
We have to really give the people the meaning of Islam. So even when people come against it, the people say, that's not Muslim. That's not what Islam. My mother told a person, Muslims are terrorists, Muslim blow up building, Muslim hijack planes. She said, wait a minute, my son is a Muslim. My son don't do nothing like this. So she may not know the definition of the word Muslim, but she knows the character. She knows the ways and the thinking of Muslim. And when we do things like this, the public need to know this. But if you notice, the media never want to publicize Muslim meeting with Jews and Christians. The media don't want that. They want the media to show Muslim, Christian, Jews fighting, hating. So there's a lots of good work going on into the community, but the media will never cover this type of story of Muslim helping the homeless, or Muslim feeding people. This go on right here in the city of Atlanta. They know we do this on a regular basis. What story has covered the Muslim feeding
We just
people?
had it 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
We fed
The Day of Dignity.
the Day of Dignity.
Yes,
We
yes.
just had it here in our community. We
Yes.
fed. My daughter was volunteer there.
Yes.
And they do not magnify, show the good part of Islam or Muslims, but they have their own agenda, like Milosevic of Yugoslavia. What he did was he, first of all, overwhelmed his citizens with negativity about Muslim and Islam.
Yes.
And then the Serbian did that bloody war to the Bosnian cleansing. And we have here in the U.S., Neil Board,
Yes.
that are sickening, always provocative to the Muslims in Islam, and who has his own agenda. Maybe he's provoking the people to tune into his show.
Yes.
But in another hand, there may be some mentally unstable Muslim or non-Muslim.
Yes.
Those kind of message is not healthy for the well-being of the community. What message would you tell them?
But first of all, we have to show them that Islam is universal. Do not nail it down to one country or nail it down to one people. We are all different nationality. We're all over the world. What place don't have Muslim and don't have Islam? That Islam is a portable religion. You can pick it up and take it anywhere and practice it, and it still is called Islam. What Christian would accept the KKK as Christian? They can call themselves Christian all they want to, Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, etc. A true Christian would say that's not Christianity. They would say that do not represent the Bible, that do not represent what we believe in. So just as they can understand that, people need to understand, what can we do to stop someone from saying, I'm a Muslim? There's nothing we can do. If a man rob a bank with a kufi or a fez, that don't make him a Muslim, but the media might portray him, the one who robbed the bank, he was a Muslim.
Exactly like in the case of Oklahoma, when Timothy McVeigh blew up Oklahoma, guess what? The media said Muslim terrorists did it first.
Yes.
When they find out it was Timothy McVeigh who blew it up, guess what? They didn't say Timothy McVeigh blew it up. The media said, the media didn't say Christian terrorists did it. They
Yes.
said Timothy McVeigh did it.
Yes.
To that individual. When it comes to Muslims and Islam, and one wrongdoer, in the case of, like example, ISIS, you
Yes.
just stated KK does not represent the Christianity.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Are ISIS representing Muslims?
Yeah, that's insane. And like I say, a lot of this is done deliberately. There's no mistake. There's no ignorance. There's no error. But, you know, if we have one Muslim speaking about Islam, and behind that one Muslim, we have 10 people lying on Islam, which one the people we're going to believe? The one who said it 10 times versus you saying the one. This is why I say we have to do more of publicizing the work of Islam and publicizing the message of Islam. Because as soon as we give a talk, we got 10, 20 people behind us to drown out what the people heard that was Islam. And in America and the world in general, they believe whatever is popular have to be right.
One of the things the global rally for humanity misunderstand is the issue of Sharia. They say Sharia is coming to America. Hey, what is Sharia? They fear. Hey, are they expecting the Muslims to obtain their marriage license, nikah, to go to the church or to the municipal court and obtain and that validate their marriage certificate? In Islam has its own due process.
Yes.
They have to go through that certain thing. That is what the Sharia
Yes.
stands for, partially.
Yes.
And what is the misunderstanding about Sharia?
Because they have made Sharia means barbaric laws, laws of a savage, etc. But everywhere we go, we see law. We cannot have a civilization that is what we call civilized without law. The Jews have laws. The Christians have law. America have law. Allah said when He created anything, He created with law to govern it. That is Sharia. Everything has a Sharia. So these laws are put in the creation to balance the creation, to govern the creation. So where are we going as a group of people anywhere in the world with lawless, no law? And they call that outlaw. That's what they do in the cowboy days. When you broke the law, did what you want, they call that person an outlaw. So again, we need law. So if they would understand Islam has a law, Islam teaches us how to wash up for prayer. That's part of Sharia. Islam teaches how to join the prayer when we're late or how to make up for the prayer. So they're thinking Sharia means to say he must die or to say his head must be cut off or his arm or hand must be cut off. This is their ignorancy of thinking about the Sharia when it's way beyond something like that.
One of the example thing is really Ethiopia is a very anxious country. As I'm part of that country and lived it and know. We've been living with the Christians for thousands of years, not 100 years. Guess what? In there is a court system for the Muslim governed with the Sharia law for the nikah, for their inheritance, marriage, inheritance, separate. The Muslim have a choice if they go there. And some of those people who feel that they may probably need to go to Ethiopia and learn how they live side by side, Muslims and non-Muslims. Moving on, in the other area of this, in the world that we see today, thousands, over 200,000 Muslims died in the war of Syria. Close to 1 million people became refugees. We've seen them on our daily screens. Muslims are suffering as they travel into Europe. A young boy that I never forget in my life, 2-3 years boy that died in that shore reaching to Italy or that part of Europe. You have the president of Bulgaria who openly say Muslims are not welcome. What happened to the Muslim country who are neighbors?
Yes.
Saudis, Qataris, all those rich countries,
Yes.
the same culture,
Yes.
Muslim, the same climate. How come they do not open their heart and mind, the door, and receive them? What do you tell them, please?
First of all, we have to ask the question, what color is homeless? What color is hunger? What color is thirsty? So as Muslim, when it comes to things like this, we just see human beings. We're not part of a clique. We only help Muslim. We only help black people. We only help Arabs. We only help African. No, we are humanitarian. But when it comes to these people, the attitude is if they're Muslim, don't let them stay.
Right.
And yet we have these Muslim countries that are neighboring. They should be opening their doors. You are welcome here. But again, many times it's fear of the people who are in power. And for Muslims, we should not fear anything other than God. Let the chip fall where they fall. I'm not trying to look up to the United States as a model. Let me see what they are doing. If they're doing it, then I would do it. If they're not doing it, then I'm not going to know. We're going to do it because it's right. We're going to do it because it's proper. We're going to do it if we become an oddball. Again, we're not doing anything because it's popular. We're doing it because it's right. And sometimes to be right, you become odd and you become the minority.
Along those lines, also the war, the senseless war in Yemen, a neighboring country, Saudi, for the last 6 months, every day they became the bread of the Muslims in Yemen. In the morning, bomb instead of bread. Their lunch became bomb. Their dinner became bomb. Their wedding became bomb. What happened to the mind of the Saudis? They are doing this to their neighbors, to the Muslims, in the name of Shia, in the name of Houthi. These people, they were there 250 years side by side for all those years. Why now? What if you get a chance, and whoever hears this interview, to get their sense work right, and yet claiming the two holy place custodian and doing this kind of thing. If this is acceptable, what message would you tell them?
First of all, Islam gives us rules and laws and regulations on how to treat our neighbor. It doesn't say Muslim neighbor. It says neighbor. If a person is your neighbor, they have rights on me.
That's right.
One of the companions of Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and peace be upon him, so I heard the Prophet say much about the rights of the neighbor, till I began to think that he was going to take the rights away from Muslims.
That's true.
So, and there's a saying in Islam, if I have a bowl of soup, my neighbor have right to half of that bowl if he have no soup. So again, it's not about skin color. It's not about religion. It's about being a human being. And we see in the Prophet Muhammad's life, the prayer and the peace be upon him, he helped people, not just Arabs, not just Muslims, he helped people. So it's important for us to put down the hatchet of hatred. Hatred has a way of blinding you. Bitterness has a way of taking your judgment away from you. We want to have high judgment, high consciousness. We have to be conscious of our behavior. If you're not, then you become unconscious. And Muslims are taught to be conscious of our behavior. That's why we have intention. So you can see, do you really want to do this? Do you want to think about what you're getting ready to do? And you could do something so long till you lose consciousness of even what you're doing. You ever seen someone fighting? They're fighting so much, someone says, hold it. Why are you fighting? They say, you know, I don't even know. I have lost the reason of why I'm even fighting. But that is a question that we have to ask all the time. We have to question our own behavior. This is one of the beauty of being a human being. We can question, not someone else, we can question our own behavior. Why are you doing this? Is it because of hatred? Is it animosity? Is it jealousy? Why are you doing this? And when we look at what is happening, it's unbelievable what nations are doing to another nation.
Again, the whole world these days is going to a lot of calamities, in particular the Middle Eastern part. The Israelis, the Palestinians, on daily basis, they're killing one another for hundreds of years, violence after violence. As I always, as a preacher say, two wrong, one will not make it right.
Yes,
A million
yes,
wrong,
yes.
one will not make it right. Wrong is always wrong. Violence is not an answer. What do you say to the cycle of non-stop violence between the two parties?
There's a verse in the Quran where Allah says, do you follow your father even if he was wrong? There are people so much caught up into a tradition that tradition supersedes religion. If my father hate this family and he dies, should I now pick up the banner and say I hate him because my father hate him, and then my grandchildren say I hate him because my daddy and my granddaddy hated him? And we see some of this, we call it family feud. Hand me down, hand me down, hand me. But daddy could have been wrong. So if daddy was wrong, should I still follow him? So we have good tradition and we have bad tradition. We should never follow a tradition just because daddy did it or mama did it. This is foolish. There's a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, the prayer and the peace be upon him. He said, one of the signs of the last day where you will find people who are brothers and friendly to each other in the daytime, and when night comes, they become enemies.
Very sad. This is, as a matter of fact, there are some indicators we are closing to the sign of the Day of Judgment. We as a Muslim, we as an Imams, we have a lot of responsibility. Yes. We have a lot of followers who listen to us. What message would you give to your followers? Number one. Number two, what message would you give? Like the people of Global Rally for Humanity. You tell them.
My position would be that as Muslim, this is for Muslim, we have to stay focused. If you look at some of the cowboy movies, the man has the gun out, the cowboy, and he's walking, and someone take a rock and throw it in the bushes, and they make him turn from this way to this way. Mm-hmm. So we have to make sure that we stay focused and not let someone turn our attention to this way. So it's about staying focused. And to the movement who is trying to fight Islam, we have to ask them, can you explain it? Can you say why? Why would you choose on Friday to protest in front of a masjid? Why would you do this? Why do you hate the Muslim? They have to answer this, and I would love for them to answer this publicly. There are people who believe that you cannot be a Muslim and be an American citizen. They don't believe you can be both. I tell people, I'm a Muslim, but I'm a citizen of this country here. Right. Who have taken my citizenship from me? No one. So this movement have people think we're not real American. Matter of fact, the movement is suggesting we want all the Muslims out of America. We want Islam out of America. And we know for a fact that would never happen. It would never happen.
As a matter of fact, they failed in Farouk. They call for this demonstration.
Yeah, one person show up.
One person show up.
And then 75% come to give support to the Muslim.
Support to the Muslim.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Yes.
That's remarkable. And we have to do a lot of outreach to them.
Yes.
You know, as you know, when the Prophet went to Taif, he was stoned.
Yes.
He was bleeding. And Allah sent him the angel in charge of mountain. Do you need my help?
Yes.
So those troublemakers, I can smite them for you.
Yes.
He said no. The Prophet of mercy, the Prophet said no. From offspring, there may be some who may hold to the kalima.
Yes.
So the message to the Muslim also should to be every non-Muslim also a potential Muslim.
Yes.
And not to treat them otherwise and show them sensitivity. And what they don't know, we need to just aid them to know.
Yes.
Is that fair assessment?
Yeah, and we should thank Allah that we may have enemies, but thank Allah we have friends. We have people who are friends of Islam. They're not Muslim, they are friends to the Muslim. And remember that everything that Allah has created has an enemy. We know the enemy to truth is falsehood and lies. we have to understand this is a natural enemy that's taking place because there's an establishment of something and they want to unestablish it or fix it where it's never established. So the question becomes, where's the freedom at that point? I don't have the freedom to be a Muslim in this country.
Quickly, the issue of gay right.
Yes.
That also another movement that are spreading, widespread in our communities. There is a woman that was refused to issue a license, went to jail,
Yes.
and the Pope himself visited her and so forth and so on. And what are the media promoting lawlessness in the world, or what is Islam or how Islam treat this?
Yeah, first of
issue?
all, we want to applaud, we want to clap for this woman that took a stand on her position in her soul and in her heart. She was not artificial, she was true to what she believed. If that means losing my job, if
So
that
be
means
it.
going to jail, so be it.
So be it.
So we have to admire her for this.
That's true.
But Islam has made it clear that homosexuality itself is a disease and it is an abomination. But we're not the only one. If you talk to Christian, they would tell you their position on it. It's the same as a Muslim.
Right.
People are scared to tell what their religion they believe. If I tell you what my religion believes, what it teaches, should I go to prison because I tell you what my religion say? So if people, you even have Muslims now, they're scared to state the position, what Islam say about homosexuality. It don't mean I'm forcing it on you. I cannot hide what I believe, and my religion have taken a position against homosexuality. Now, does that mean we're going to go out and kill everybody who's a homosexual? No. Do it mean that we're going to blow up churches that is homosexual churches? No. We don't have a campaign like that to kill and destroy anyone who say they're homosexual. No.
That's insanity.
Yes.
Well, we have a lot to address, and we are not going to finish it in one session. This Imam Circle, we're going to have another Imams in our community in the next show, and we will be discussing all these vital issues for the Muslims. In 2 days, probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow, there will be a new year, 1437th year. We wish every Muslims happy new year. Probably a lot of people might know in the West, the beginning of January, and they don't remember the beginning of Muharram for us. For the Muslims, it's our beginning is around the corner, either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. We want to wish ahead of time through the Muslim American show and through the Imams, like my friend in here, happy new year of Muslim. And remember, in the society there are three groups of people. Number one, who are, I call them P, passive. Whenever they see problem, they don't address it, they just let it go. Those are the part of the problem. Number two, I call them ER, emotionally responsive. They are so emotional to respond, not with wiseness. They are part of the biggest problem. The third group of people, I call them 2 R's, responsively responsive. Feel responsibility and properly respond to the issues. We have to show sensitivity to the non-Muslims. We have to give them comfort zone. Yes. We have to equip them with knowledge. We have to bridge the gap. Yes. We have to reach to our neighbors. We have to outreach to our co-worker and tell them this is what our religion is all about. Yes. It's religion of peace. We should not apologize for the wrongdoing of ISIS. ISIS has nothing to do with Islam.
Yes.
We should not apologize for the wrongdoing of Boko Haram. Boko Haram has nothing to do with Islam. Al-Shabaab of Somalia, it has nothing to do with Islam. Al-Qaeda has nothing to do with Islam. Wahhabism has nothing to do with Islam. So all this manufactured by the non-Muslim to divide us and to become weak. And we should do better with the technology that are available today and living in global village. All humanity, we are one family. We belong to the same family. We learn, and we should learn from the nature. Rain is rain for everybody, for the white, for the black, for the Muslim, for the non-Muslims. Earth serves everybody, white, black, yellow, woman, everybody. We need to learn from the nature and be human, as these people had the wrong, good name, but the wrong message. We tell them to correct their incorrect position and open up for the real humanity, love, or at least respectfully disagree. They can disagree with us all day long, not with the hateful message and coming with intimidation and gun and inviting trouble. And we tell them, please wake up from your deep sleep and open up your heart and mind and study from the Muslims' perspective. Come to us, the Imams, and talk to us, interview us. We are available to you. There is nothing to hide. Come to our mosque. We are open 7 days a week for you. وآخر دعوانا
Our voices must be heard. Our voices speak the truth.
People of the world, let's stop all abuse.
Our voices must be heard. Our voices speak the truth. People of the world, let's stop all abuse. Our voices must be heard. Our voices speak the truth. People of the world, let's stop all abuse.
We all denounce terrorism. We stand against it in deed and word. This is our belief, our unwavering idea.
And we are the Muslims of the world. And we are the Muslims of the world.
الاعتدال طريقنا، نبذ التطرف دائما قولا فعلا واعتقاد، هذا هو الدرب في الشرق والغرب.
The Muslims of the world. And we are the Muslims of the world. Our voices must be heard. Our voices speak the truth. People of the world, let's stop all abuse. Our voices must be heard. Our voices speak the truth. People of the world, let's stop all abuse.
Nous dénonçons le terrorisme. Nous leur renions de toutes nos forces. L'islam, c'est la foi qui préserve tous les droits.
And we are the Muslims of the world. And we are the Muslims of the world.
Wir alle verachten Terrorismus. Wir sind dagegen mit Taten und Worten. Daran halten wir fest. Dies ist unser Weg.